makes any sense. The food, what is going on? Like, it does not taste like food. Like, something's off. Please tell me I'm not the only one. If you're living in America, you have to tell me if this makes any sense. The food, what is going on?
True conspiracy theory is that our food pyramid is a lie. Our government literally conspired with people in the food industry to make it something that...
That's what I've heard.
The first food pyramid was actually made in Sweden in around 1972, and they did this because the cost of food was getting really high. So they wanted some sort of guide where people could buy cheap food on the bottom and then add in extras at the top. When they were kicking around ideas for the food pyramid back then, they actually kicked around this idea of a circular, image with different servings cut out, but they ended up not going with that because they thought it would remind people of cake and make them eat cake. This is the food pyramid that we know of in the US, and it came out in 1992, but it was actually sent to the printer in 1991, and it was created by a lot of nutritionists and scientists. But when people from the poultry, chicken, meat, dairy industry heard that this version, not this one, a different version of the food pyramid was coming out, they got upset and they stepped in and they said, we think that you're portraying our industries poorly, we're going to rework the food pyramid. So after a year of reworking and $900,000 in taxpayer money, this is what they came up with, which is, kind of ridiculous. The original food pyramid that the nutritionists had put together had things like crackers and baked goods at the very top of the pyramid. Eat sparingly. In the reworking of this, in order to please the wheat industry, they had it at the absolute bottom of the pyramid. So they tried to make us believe that cereal, pasta, that should be the thing we eat the most of.
Right, all the carbs, of course.
A massive hold on this project because the fact that they were able to make dairy its own thing that you need every day, despite the fact that so many cultures don't eat dairy, so many people are lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
They put it on the pyramid and said, dairy is so important, you need to get servings of it every day.
Right.
Interesting stuff around this. We broke it down in this week's podcast.
Eat this, even though you might have explosive diarrhea. It's all good. Just eat it. Okay. It's necessary.
Those Walmart type brands like Great Value and then the regular brands, right?
Yes.
Listen to this theory. It might shock you a bit. So they have Cool Whip, then just the normal whipped cream. I bet you didn't know, but it's all made by the same company.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that Great Value goes to the same manufacturers, and they just get it made cheaper without the branding, like no brand name. So, the canned vegetables, right? The big name brand is called Green Giant, and the Great Value ones are also made by Green Giant. It's the same with cereal. So there's also this store called Aldi, right? Now this store is known for having the best products that match up to the big name brands. That's how they promote their store. So if you go into Aldi, they have this brand called
I laugh because my old lady used to work at Aldi's.
And all their cereals are replicas of cereals like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cookie Crisps, and Rice Krispies. And they look so similar, but are all made by Millville. The real name brand is made by General Mills. They dug deep and found out that Millville is the same thing as General Mills.
So you're telling me that they're like the exact same?
We're poisoning this whole generation. Shouldn't we be talking about that? Shouldn't we be talking about the fact that we have 1,000 ingredients in our foods that are illegal in other countries, in Europe, etc.?
Yeah, exactly.
We're just systematically poisoning this generation of kids. When I talk about it, I feel like people's lights go on and they say, yeah, that is what this election should be about. It shouldn't be about the fear. And when you start talking about the issues that are really important to people, the chronic disease, the debt, the addiction to war, restoring our soils, having healthy foods, I see that there's a tremendous receptivity both by Republicans and Democrats. And of course, they want to make sure Republicans and Democrats never get together on anything. We're poisoning this whole generation.
Hey Starbucks, why do my popping boba pearl things look infected? Or like little eggs? Let's take a closer look. At first I thought it might be because it's partially still frozen, but there was absolutely no temperature difference. I've also purchased buckets of these from online before, and they've never ever looked like
this. Yeah. Buddy of mine used to talk about working at Taco Bell, and that it said grade E meat, not for human consumption, before this process was done here. That's disturbing, beyond disturbing. It looks lovely, doesn't it? Yeah, this new fake food stuff, man. Come on. Yummy. Boy, it looks like a cooked turd, doesn't it? I mean, yummy. Forever. Delicious. Forever.
So I got this chicken from Target, and no, I did not put forks in it, even though it looks like it. And look how it's boiling, like they injected it with something. It's actually a big chicken breast, but like, nah, something ain't right with the chicken, y'all.
I got this watermelon at Walmart, and I like to rinse my watermelon before I cut it.
Oh, wow.
It's like hitting.
Well, I've seen a lot of this recently.
I could take this and twist it. It doesn't break. That's gross. It's literally rubber. It's like plastic.
What do you guys think, man? This is becoming a real problem. It sounds like a goat is dying.
Like an acid ball.
Yeah, something's happening here, folks. The food in America has suddenly shifted towards this, whatever this is. I think I'm
So I
terrified.
cut watermelon for my kids, and they're all bringing it right back, saying they don't like the texture. I've seen enough videos of people posting rubbery watermelon. I can't believe I got one. I got a rubber.
What is happening here? What is happening here?
Crack them in a separate bowl because I just cracked one and
Ooh.
that's a motherfucking roundworm that just came out of that fucking egg.
But look at the texture. My finger makes an indent like a sponge, and then I did this. Squeeze. Squeeze. I squeeze it as hard as I could.
That's terrifying. That's disgusting.
Smaller and smaller.
Ugh. No, that ain't right. Ugh.
In 1985, tobacco giant R.J. Reynolds bought Nabisco Foods. Tobacco pioneer Philip Morris bought General Foods, and 3 years later, Kraft Foods, making them the largest food producer in North America, and leaving the business of food in the capable hands of the same corporations who helped addict us to tobacco. Using the same tactics they used to promote tobacco,
of course they
food
did.
companies set about peddling the entire planet a diet of processed goods,
Of course so.
loaded with
Yes.
chemicals and additives, masquerading as food. This new machine operates with specific targets in mind, like addicting consumers, without them knowing it.
Right.
Our food is being tainted by dangerous chemicals, and it's making us sick. Our current agriculture system origin story involves large chemical companies, not farmers, chemists. 85% of the food that you're consuming started from a patented seed sold by a chemical corporation that was responsible for creating Agent Orange in the Vietnam War.
Nice.
Why are chemical companies feeding America? In 1974, the U.S. started spraying our crops with an herbicide called glyphosate, and in the early 1990s, we began to see the release of genetically modified foods into our food supply. It all seems to begin with a chemical company by the name IG Farben, the later parent company.
I've heard
of
them.
Bayer. Farben provided the chemicals used in Nazi nerve agents.
That
and
would be why I
gas
heard of them.
chambers. When the wars ended, these companies needed a market for their chemicals. If that is not alarming enough, glyphosate is produced by and distributed from China. Americans deserve a straight answer. Why does an agrochemical company own where our food comes from?
It's a conspiracy within a conspiracy within, wrapped up in an enigma. Yeah, wrapped up in an enigma. Oh my God, it's hard to say. Anyways,
I wouldn't touch these foods in America, and this is why.
right? I have to slow it down to see all the ingredients, but yeah, I understand what they're getting with that.
piece of information that you learned that feels illegal to know?
You guys cannot tell KFC that I told you this. Come here. I've been recently sharing fast food secrets with everybody, right? And the fast food establishments have not been too happy about it. I recently shared the Five Guys unlimited bacon trick, where Five Guys does not charge for extra bacon or extra cheese. You can get as much bacon and as much cheese as you want.
Okay.
It's free completely, right? Well, I have a friend that works at KFC, and he told me this one. KFC does free refills on buckets of chicken. Come here. Their policy is, as long as you finish the bucket of chicken within an hour, you can
whatever.
get the bucket of chicken refilled for free.
I don't think that's the
They
thing.
don't have to see you eat the bucket of chicken.
No, I don't see that. No.
American foods banned in other countries. And if you do see these foods in Europe, they've likely changed the formula or come with a warning label. Why? It's not the flavor, it's the fine print. The sneaky ingredient, red 40. This dye can amplify ADHD symptoms in kids. Shocked? So
Right.
was I.
Mm.
Don't wait for a warning label or the FDA to tell you.
I've heard the same thing.
About our food, eliminate confusion, and update you with key facts that matter most.
Since I'm talking about food conspiracy
God
theories,
dang, is it
I
loud
have
enough?
been on this one my whole life.
Oh my God, dude.
Size M&Ms, like these ones you get around Halloween, you know, taste different from regular ones. They taste
No, you got to go, man. Your voice is just. Come on. Seen that one. Hold on.
Number 1. Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops contain harmful dyes like yellow 5 and red 40, which are linked to cancer. Number 2. U.S. produced pork. Pigs in the U.S. are fed rectopamine to gain weight faster. The only problem is that the additive can cause major health issues, including heart problems. That's why it's banned in more than 160 countries, including Russia and China. Number 3. Mountain Dew. The soft drink with a radioactive glow contains something called
Radioactive glow.
vegetable oil, which can lead to headaches and cause memory loss. That's why the European Union and Japan
Oh,
banned the toxic
man.
soft drink for good. No wonder. Like and follow for more.
The chances of
Ah.
you seeing this video are so rare. There's 500 million users on TikTok.
What are we looking at
and
here?
You will probably never see my account again. But I'm not gonna ask you to follow me.
Yeah, no.
There's another crazy Mandela effect, and it's about push pops.
Wait, like the popsicle?
Yeah, remember?
I remember Push Pops.
How we always used to eat it. It was like the cylinder wrapper, you know, and like the
Yeah.
little stick at the bottom, the plastic stick, right?
Yeah, those are literally the best.
Little, yeah.
Yeah, and whenever we go to the store, right, we would ask, can we get a push pop, right? And then the worker would sell it to us. We could all agree, everyone used to call it a push pop.
Yeah, they even had like the Flintstones one.
So I saw a video by Haley Elizabeth, I think that's her name, and she talked about a crazy Mandela effect that's going to blow your mind. Just to be clear, we all used to call this thing a push pop.
Yeah,
I remember Push Pop,
So it's
yeah.
actually not called a push pop, but it's actually called a push up.
What?
Yeah, it's called a push up. and
No.
not push pop. It's just push up with no pop at the end.
No.
Even everybody all over the internet agrees that we all used to call
Push pops.
And it's weird how we all remember in a certain way, but apparently it never happened. There's another.
Oh, that's crazy.
Our government is letting U.S. food companies get away with serving American citizens harmful ingredients that are banned or heavily regulated in other countries, selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, serving us the most toxic version. Let me give you some examples. A McDonald's French fries. In the U.S., there's 11 ingredients. In the UK, there's 3, and salt is optional. An ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane is an ingredient preserved with formaldehyde, a neurotoxin, in the U.S. version. Used as a foaming agent, so they don't have to replace the oil that often, making McDonald's more money here in the United States. Skittles, the long list of ingredient differences. 10 artificial dyes in the U.S. version and titanium dioxide. This ingredient is banned in Europe because it can cause DNA damage. Artificial dyes are made from petroleum, and products containing these dyes require a warning label in Europe that states it may cause adverse effects on activity and detention in children, linked to cancer and disruptions in the immune system.
It seems like we have a real issue going on in America, but nobody seems to be privy to the information. I'm a little worried. What about you?
If food labels were honest.
What am I looking at here? All-purpose cleaner.
Red Bull.
Glows in the dark.
Hellman's.
Hell no.
Kraft's mac and cheese. Kraft singles.
Not a single bit of cheese. I believe it.
And Jemima syrup.
Jemima, not Jemima.
Orange juice. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Diabetes in a box.
Cheetos. I can't believe it's not butter. Betty Crocker's whipped cream frosting.
Wow, man.
The bread specifically, when I go to other countries, I can eat a lot more bread and feel way less bloated and inflamed. And here in the United States, I swear on my life, I have one piece of bread and I do not know what they put in that, but I am immediately feeling like absolute crap.
We want to turn now to a series of stories that we've been doing this week on how U.S. food regulations have left American consumers exposed to chemicals and additives that have been banned in other countries. CBS's Holly Williams goes in depth to show us how some of these ingredients may be linked to cancer and other health-related issues.
From baguettes to focaccia, Europe is famous for its bread, but one ingredient is missing. Potassium bromate is a suspected carcinogen that's banned for human consumption in Europe as well as China and India, but legal in the US, where it's used by some food makers to strengthen dough and estimated to be present in over 100 products.
There is evidence that it may be toxic to human consumers, that it may even either initiate or promote the development of tumours.
Professor Eric Millstone is an expert on food additives and told us European
Hang on just a second. I'm going to check the audio here. Just
consumers, that it may even either initiate or promote the development of tumours.
Professor Eric Millstone is an expert on food additives and told us European
hang on just a second. A little bit low, isn't it? Okay. Not sure why.
countries take a much more cautious approach to food safety.
Can we say for sure that these differences in regulations mean that people in the US have developed cancers that they would not have developed if they'd been eating only in Europe?
I think that that is almost certainly the conclusion that we could reach.
It's not just potassium bromate, but many other chemicals and substances that are banned here in Europe over health concerns, but considered safe by the FDA.
Do you think most Americans are aware that they're being exposed to substances that
Probably
are
not, no.
dangerous over here?
They probably just think, well, if it's available and it's in the store, then it's probably fine.
Right.
Stacey McNamara is from upstate New York, but has been living in London for 10 years. She told us raising children on this side of the Atlantic has opened her eyes to what's allowed in food in the US. She has no plans to ever move back home.
And is food safety a part of that decision?
For sure, yeah. How am I going to protect my children when it's just everywhere?
In a statement to CBS News, the FDA said that when used properly, potassium bromate converts to a harmless substance during food production. But at the same time, Nora, it
Does it
acknowledged
now?
that not all potassium bromate may convert, saying control measures can minimize the amount in food.
The breads.
Ow!
Y'all better start paying attention to y'all food. So y'all, why is my eggs is plastic?
What the hell?
Somebody tell me what's going on at Coke. This is the third six-pack that I've gotten that does this. They're not carbonated and they're
Oh,
flat.
wow.
Like if I wanted Pepsi, I would have bought Pepsi. What is happening?
One sandwich in, and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is even in the inside of these bitches.
If you want to hear a scary and interesting story, watch this video. My wife and I, we just got back from our trip to Brazil. We were there for 3 weeks, and she's from Brazil originally, so we went to go visit her family. Now, prior to the trip, we cut out eating rice and like potato chips and things like that. We used to eat something crunchy with like every single meal, and we used to eat rice almost every single meal. Cut that out for like 3 months, lost weight, went to Brazil, and once we got to Brazil, we ate so much food all the time. Some of you know, some of you don't. I'm a bariatric patient, so my stomach is not as big as it used to be, and I was still eating so much food all the time. I'm talking chocolates, brownies, rice, beans, and meat every single day, French fries every single day. The traditional Brazilian meal is rice, beans, farofa, French fries, meat, salad, these kinds of things. Vinaigrette, which is like it's like a pico de gallo Brazilian style. Picanha every single day, meat, carne every single day. You name it, we ate it. And we were like, oh shit, when we get home, we're gonna step on that scale. It's gonna be a whole different story. And we got home and we stepped on the scale, both of us, and we both lost weight. Now here's the interesting part. We have been back for 3 days. We landed on Wednesday at 7 a.m. The first thing we got, since we'd been gone, our fridge was empty, our house was empty. The first thing we got was breakfast. We just ordered Uber Eats from this diner down the street. Fake eggs, crappy ass hash browns, sausage links, whatever. Just to put food in our stomachs while we were home until we figured out groceries and everything. I got some shredded beef from Trader Joe's, peppers, onions, tomatoes, cooked up some food the last couple of days. Even used some of like the stock freezer food that you can just pop real quickly and easy. There was like raviolis and meatballs from Trader Joe's. 24 hours after we were in LA, we woke up the next day and we had the worst headaches ever for hours. Feeling sluggish, feeling tired. We know jet lag. This was not jet lag. I can't even fathom the fact that I was able to consume as much food and a variety of different foods, from sweets to drinking Guaraná and Coke Zeros over there, to eating as much as we want, just to coming back here for 1 day to the United States and eating the food that we ate, both home cooked and ordered. Fuck you, Amazon. And we both felt as shitty as we felt in 24 hours.
You guys still think the food here is okay?
America's food is banned in 30 countries. The food is killing people. Oh yeah, it's definitely killing people. If somebody were to buy a bag of Lay's potato chips versus buying it in Europe and look at the ingredients, they're totally different. They will make the healthier version for another country. There's over 10,000 food chemicals that are allowed in the American population or food system that aren't allowed in other countries. It makes it easier for food companies, gives them longer shelf life because they're putting so many chemicals in it. So anytime we lobby for healthier food choices in our school systems, in our neighborhoods, the food industry is going right behind them with billions and millions of dollars saying, no, we can't do that.
10,000 ingredients that are banned in other countries. 10,000.
Did you know Universal Studios serves human meat?
Yummy.
Did you know Universal... Our government is letting U.S. food companies get away with serving American citizens harmful ingredients that are banned or heavily regulated in other countries. Even worse, American food companies are selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, but choose to continue serving us the most toxic version here. It's un-American.
I wonder why. Oh, maybe it's due to the fact that in America, healthcare is not socialized. It's still capitalist. They're going to make so much more money if we are constantly sick. Not dead. Not enough to kill us, but enough to keep us sick so that we have to go to the hospital and use... Couldn't be anything to do with that, could it?
Let me give you
Your food is illegal. I got tagged in this a bunch of times, and there's 15 things that I have to try and fit in. Now, a lot of these are going to be about food dyes. And this time, instead of spending half the video talking about food dyes, I encourage everybody to go check out Food Science Babe's videos on food dyes. If we give her nice puppy eyes, maybe she'll make a brand new one for us. Particularly on the part where the UK has more dyes that are banned in the US than the US has dyes banned in the UK. Stovetop stuffing has BHA and BHT, which may be carcinogenic. BHA and BHT are antioxidants, and antioxidants tend to share a common property. And that property is that in low amounts, they are very beneficial for us, but in high amounts, yes, they can cause cancer. And so it is dose dependent. For Skittles, we got food dyes again, but also titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide was banned in some countries because of concerns of nanoparticles. Concerns of, not proof of. Studies so far have shown that the nanoparticles...
Titanium dioxide. Titanium is not natural. It does not occur in nature. What the hell is going on? Why would you put titanium in our food?
Are in insignificant amounts. I've been over Coffee Mate before. It's because these countries have a law that says the trans fat in non-animal products can only be 2% of the total fat by weight. And when you have something that's only 2 grams of fat, that means the trans fat has to be under 0.04 grams. And it's not. It's probably closer to 0.1 or 0.2. Since my last video on ractopamine, I've actually learned a fair bit more on it. Firstly is that it has a half-life of 4 hours. So by the time you stop feeding the pig, slaughter it, transport it, cook it, and eat it, there is
still
extremely tiny trace amounts of it left. And the primary reason ractopamine gets banned in other countries is that those countries consider it animal abuse, because ractopamine has a history of causing health issues in the pig. The Ritz crackers thing is the same thing as the Coffee Mate. And the statement that the FDA deemed these oils as not generally recognized as safe is false. It is partially hydrogenated oils that are not generally recognized as safe. So this pink slime thing is something I'm not familiar with because it's also banned in Canada. But instead of making a video going, ooh, US, your food is banned in Canada, I'm just going to tell you I don't know enough about it, and I have to pass on this one. This is another food dye one, but it made me laugh. They think it's strange that it has yellow and red food dye because they're brown. Brown is dark orange, and you create orange by combining red and yellow. Red and yellow make orange, you darken that with black, you get brown. Maraschino cherries, we got food dyes again. Farmed fish are not fed mercury and dioxin. Mercury bioaccumulates in seafood, period, farmed or wild. And dioxins accumulate in farmed fish due to being near shore and getting pollution runoff. This one's a case of humans polluting. US milk with RGBH is another one that's banned in Canada. But the reason it's banned in Canada isn't because of its effect on humans, it's because it can be unhealthy for the cows. This is another animal welfare ban. Brominated vegetable oil hasn't been in Mountain Dew for years. This is just outdated. The ban on US chicken isn't because of the chlorine. In fact, some of these European countries use a chlorine wash to wash their vegetables. They banned it because they found it to be not effective against salmonella.
Oh.
And so people were thinking the chicken was clean when it wasn't. Fruit Loops is another dye one. And the reason atrazine was banned in the EU was because it was contaminating groundwater. Want to get videos about it?
Wow.
When I said McDevils, everybody was like, ha ha ha. I said Taco Hell, ha ha ha. White Casket instead of White Castle, ha ha ha. So I went and looked up Popeye's chicken sandwich. Come to find out, they have over 40 ingredients in the Popeye's chicken sandwich. 32 of them were man-made chemicals.
Of course they
I
are.
said, well, let's see what Chick-fil-A has. Well, black people got an emotional attachment to this Chick-fil-A spot. So when I said Chick-fil-A, over 50 chemicals in the chicken sandwich, over 40 of them were man-made chemicals.
Yes, they are.
I said, so hell, this is a dope sandwich. So they really are flipping birds over there. Inside of beef, there were 21 drugs pumped into cows that were harmful to the human body. This was in the 60s. Because these drugs are in the meat, that you become addicted to it. I even was told that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And they were trying to get you to buy the cereal that they was producing. We find ourselves suffering from illness and sickness unnecessarily. The oldest man in the scriptures named Methuselah, 969. How'd you live to be almost 1,000? He ate one meal, fasted 3 days, and then ate another meal. You eat like that, your body will never have enough toxins to even make you sick. I end up becoming a vegetarian that I feel now at the age of 48 better than I felt at the age of 15. They don't want you to know that they're drugging you, wanting the food not for nutritional value, but because you become addicted. Any foreign substance automatically activates the immune system, which means our bodies, when we eat this kind of food, they are fighting
become inflamed.
Unnecessary battle.
Yes.
So when the real battles of disease show up, the systems are too worn out by fighting these small battles every day from bad eating that they can't handle a virus when it shows up.
The truth is hidden in a plain sight. wanted to show you something. Who knows our classic oatmeal cream pies? Well, that
Yeah.
classic oatmeal cream pie needs to stay here. Unfortunately, America's trying to poison us. Oatmeal cream pies, marketed for your children. Look at those additives.
My God. Wow.
Let's look at the list. 11. Red
Yeah.
hazardous.
I'm trying to tell people
Things
this
that
for a
we're gonna
long
expect
time.
to see.
You just don't believe me.
This is a disgrace. The American food system hurt and injured my son. It's time we stand up
It is time.
and demand better food choices.
估计的啊，煮好了，猪肚子、猪肉，要往那没有啊，估计的不能腌啊，看着漂亮酱装出锅啊，记住我。估计。
Nigga, this the meat they selling us. But I just did that on my finger, but I ain't even push that hard. Watch this, look. Come on, bro. Look, this shit coming apart. Look, it's coming apart. Watch this.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
It's like jelly or something.
It's not meat.
This is jelly meat.
That's disgusting.
Mind you, look though. Look, this is a T-bone steak. T-bone steak, $9. When the fuck you ever seen a T-bone steak for $9? Look, these is what I was gonna consider getting. $21, 2 T-bones.
What is that?
What?
That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting.
What?
It's not meat. No. What's with the audio, man? I mean, come on.
US, there's 11 ingredients.
Oh, God. Are you kidding me?
Look at that. It's like...
No, man, come on. This is horrible. This is disgusting. This is wrong, dude.
I've seen enough videos of people posting rubbery watermelon. I can't believe I got one. I got a rubbery watermelon.
Today, we're doing something illegal. We are going to try foods in America that are banned in the UK and Europe. Food number 1. Fruit Loops. I've never tried these.
They've spelled fruit wrong.
Yeah. Apparently, the food colouring in these
Yes,
are
they are.
illegal and cause nerve cell damage. That's mental.
So why are you gonna try it?
Oh, it does smell good. Would you like some nerve cell damage? No problem. Coming right up. Who's this guy on the front? What's that? A little penguin on the front of the box?
Let's have a look at them dry first. Wow. It's like, Have you smelt them?
Pure chemicals.
That is E numbers.
I'm bouncing off the walls. Let's get some milk in.
Forget Red Bull. Fruit Loops.
Yeah. Fruit Loops for the first time. Here we go.
That's why you're a Fruit Loop fan.
That's funny.
Here we go. Forget Skittles, I can taste the rainbow.
Yummy.
Yeah, I can almost feel my insides rotting.
Very sweet. I feel fine though, I don't...
Bring Fruit Loops to the UK. Do you like Fruit Loops? Jace doesn't by the sounds of it. We are going to be doing a series of this showing you guys foods that are available in America,
But not in the UK.
in Europe.
The reason why foreigners think American food is nasty. They hate our cheese. They say that it tastes like plastic. Honestly, I'm going to have to agree with them.
Yeah.
They say that our chocolate tastes sour like spoiled milk. I'm also going to have to agree with them. Our dairy can't be nasty like that. They hate pineapples on pizza. I disagree. I love pineapple on pizza. They don't like our sodas. They say that they can taste the corn syrup, and it's just too sugary and just tastes nasty.
It is too sugary.
Twinkies are delicious. They say it tastes like sloppy cake with moisturizer cream. Ugh, that does sound nasty, but I love Twinkies. Apparently our Cinnabons are totally nasty. In places like Sweden, they only put egg wash and pearl sugar on before baking it. They don't like our bread. They said that our bread tastes like sugar.
Disgusting.
I'm like, duh, that's why we love it.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in?
Look at the size of these guys' aisles. They literally got full aisles of this stuff. And even these guys. Compared to, look at this tiny section. Breakfast. How you and I have been tricked to eat these crap cereal products and fruit juices, thinking that it's a healthy part of a nutritious breakfast. For thousands of years, humans have been hunters and gatherers. We've been roaming the earth and eating when we were hungry. And we ate eggs. We ate animal foods. We probably ate berries and roots and tubers. Not these crap cereals and fruit juices. And this whole concept of breakfast, even the ancient Romans only ate one meal a day. They knew something. You wake up in the morning, spike your blood sugar, spike your insulin levels, you screw up your whole day. Here's what happens when you drink orange juice compared to eating oranges. You consume orange juice, your blood sugar comes crashing down, and this creates hunger. And your insulin levels are significantly higher even more than 2 hours later. We've been hijacked.
No kidding.
You're American. Do you eat hamburger every day? Oh, no, that's just a stereotype. What else do you eat then? You don't have any real food. Sorry, what do you mean we don't have real food? See, in France, we have French cuisine. In America, you just have junk foods and food from other countries. Even your beloved apple pie, it's from England. I see what you mean. Kind of like how croissants are from France, right? What are you talking about? Apple pie is really from England, just like how croissants are really from Austria. Okay, that's just one example. There is a lot of French food. Okay, name some then. Easy, baguette. Austria again, then foie gras. Ancient.
Anyway.
In the US, there's 11 ingredients. In the UK, there's 3, and salt is optional. An ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane.
My question is, why in the hell would you want audio that loud? Jesus.
So each of these foods contain an ingredient that's banned in the EU but legal in the US. Welcome to my series where I'm going to tell you guys all about different additives that we in America use in our foods that other countries have banned and why I think we should probably ban them too. Starting off with an extremely prevalent preservative, we've got BHA and BHT, a waxy solid and a white powder used to help make food more shelf stable. Sadly, you can find this preservative in these foods and plenty more, but it's really common. If you're looking for it, you'll start noticing it on a lot of food labels. Okay, so it's in our food, but what does it do? BHA has been called out as a reasonably anticipated human carcinogen, and in animal studies, both of these have been called tumor promoters. No, one bag of chips isn't gonna hurt you, but you should be aware of the harmful effects of the preservatives in your
long
term. You know what American food is? It's not burgers, it's not hot dogs. It's that craving that you get when you want like a chain or a brand, but not the food that they sell. American food is wanting Chipotle, but doesn't mean you want Mexican. I want mac and cheese, but like I want Kraft. I'm not boiling pasta. Well, I want Annie's. American food is when you want the processed stuff. You know, right?
American snacks banned in other countries.
Oh my God.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in?
So every year allergy season rolls around and more people are starting to learn about botanical sexism, which is basically that city planners, who are mostly male, decided that female trees are too messy, and so they planted overwhelmingly male trees that release pollen, but not enough female trees to absorb the pollen, so we have more pollen floating around in the air than ever, which leads to increased allergies. But what everyone somehow forgets to add is that the reason female trees are messy is because they produce fruit.
Right.
And I high-key believe that botanical sexism is driven by capitalism and making sure that people who live in urban areas don't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables that aren't provided by corporations.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in?
Interesting.
When I moved from the U.S. to Germany, I was shocked to find out that some of the foods I grew up with are banned here in Europe. Like some of our favorite sugary cereals that contain the flavor enhancer and preservative BHT. Restricted here because it potentially causes cancer. All those studies are inconclusive. Some citrus-flavored sodas are also not allowed here in the European Union because they contain brominated vegetable oil, a chemical that keeps the citrus flavor from separating and floating to the top.
Heard this too.
Eggs here in Europe come with chicken poop and feathers on them. Washed eggs, like the ones you find in the U.S., are illegal here because washing the egg destroys a natural layer of the egg that protects against bacteria. So that's why the eggs here, unlike in the US, don't have to be refrigerated.
Interesting.
When I moved from the US to Germany...
Top 10 American foods that are banned in other countries. Number 10 is Fruit Loops. Okay.
Yeah, we know this. Okay.
Oh, boss, okay. Welcome back to the series of me trying and rating every one of our president's favorite dishes. Today we're on to our third president, Thomas Jefferson, and his favorite dish, macaroni and cheese. Thomas Jefferson was born in 1743 in Virginia. He was a man of many talents, a founding father, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, and our third president. He was also an avid traveler and connoisseur of fine foods. During his time as the American minister to France, Jefferson developed a taste for European cuisine. It was in France that he discovered a dish called macaroni. So impressed was he by this pasta, he brought back the pasta machine and a recipe to America. Serving from 1801 to 1809, Jefferson oversaw the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the United States, and commissioned the Lewis and Clark expedition to explore the new territories. Jefferson's love for macaroni and cheese led him to serve it at state dinners, introducing it to American society and the American palate. This creamy, cheesy dish quickly became a favorite across the nation. I can see why Jefferson had such a soft spot for this comfort classic. The tender pasta and sharp cheddar go excellent together. I'm giving it an 8.9 out of 10.
I like that. That's history lesson with food cuisine lesson. That's amazing. I like that. I like that.
Now, I'm not saying that this is real, but if I was a dystopian author, which I'm not, I prefer contemporary and fantasies, but if I was a dystopian or apocalyptic author, this is what I would write for the season of Earth. So, like, instead of it being an actual nuclear World War III, it turns into a digital one, where the American propaganda machine is shot down, or I should say infiltrated, by a Chinese company, an AI system that brings consciousness to the people of America so that they see the propaganda machine and start to slowly reject it, which, you know, dismantles power. However, because of the hunger and greed on the other side of that monster, right, in China, because actually China, in this turn of events, is not one China, there's two. There's the Communist Party China, and then, like, the digital, you know, scholar China. The China before the Western world, you know, went in and stripped it and left it open for power dictators to come up. Anyways, that kind of China. So that China, funny enough, is just watching as their own party is slowly eating itself, because they're so caught up in the lies that they feed themselves, they don't even see what's happening right in front of them, which is that the American side is also, you know, pulling a big missile at them digitally, so to speak. And so it shoots out both parties of supremacy, and, you know, everybody can go back to living life in a way that it was meant to be, like as a human fucking being, and not controlled by petty ass men with privilege.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Our food is not what it's cracked up to be. It's not also what it's presented to be. It's definitely not good for us. Not all, but most of it. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you at least had your eyes open to the fact that there might be some really shady things going on in our society. And maybe not just eat anything that's at the store. Maybe take a look. Maybe do a little Googling. Let's maybe figure out if this stuff is real or what, man. Other than that, guys, I love y'all. Take it easy.